Greetings and welcome to Monster Legends, and another special feeding episode. This time we're going to be feeding a horsey that I picked up a while ago at a maze. Castles and Knights, something like that. And he's been sitting very patiently in storage, and I finally got around to hatching him, like we're going to do right now. There are those who believe that this is the greatest light creature ever. Well, as an owner of Al Canine, yeah, show me the skills. That's what I have to say. Show me the skills. This is Rasagon. Okay, he's got 2 lock ruin slots, but we have kind of a discount now. So let's see whether or not his awesomeness means that I'm going to be spending some gems. So I do have a place for him. I've done some moving. See, technically Temerians I don't consider male or female, so they're hanging out with Red right now. I figure she's probably not going to eat them. Okay, I don't know what was going on there, but fire was involved, so I'm on board with that. I'm on board with that. All right, where is he? He's over here. Okay, he's among some interesting individuals over here. All right, this is obviously someone we're going to rename. Okay, so this is Rocigon. He's a cute little guy. He's probably not going to be cute once we start feeding him, though, right? Anyway, he is a legendary. He is light. He's hardened, so he has a 20% chance to resist those naughty, naughty negative status effects. His power and his speed are very close to being the same. Speed's a little bit more, just a hair more. Very good life. He's going to have quite a health pool when he gets leveled up, isn't he? All right, let's take a quick look at some skills. Okay, horse before. What? Okay. Deals low physical damage to one enemy, and then there's this one, Resonate. Whatever. Deals moderate light damage to one enemy. All right, so that's actually kind of interesting, moderate light damage. And of course, that wonderful skill that we saw, which was a little bit confusing, goes far and knows much. Deals massive special damage to all enemies. Applies ignite to all enemies. Applies burn to all enemies. All right, so he's going to do a lot of damage. And he's going to put the 2 fire dots on them, which, I'm just calling them fires. They're not really fire. But that's actually kind of interesting. Burning is something that some individuals are immune to. I don't think ignition is something that anyone is immune to. Ignition is pretty good. It only lasts 2 turns. Burning is always a good thing, too. It's always good to set our enemies on fire. It really is. It's for the best. Although a little slow, and sometimes clumsy, this loyal creature never leaves Quixote's side. Where he lacks in speed, he makes up for in strength. Actually, he's a little faster than he is powerful. Just thought I'd point that out. With his powerful mane and hoofs to tougher than nails. Perfect for taking on any giant. He takes on giants? Okay. Anyway, all right, so that's him. He's a cute little fellow there. And, yeah, we got to level him up. No one's going to be riding him this young, really. So let's just get him up there. Okay, that's a little better. He's got a nice little saddle there. Okay, is he got a mustache or has he got some hay in his... Okay, what happened? Okay, apparently he's one with the speed force and he can just phase out of existence. Right, alright, so let's start working on skills because that is what we have heard about this guy. He's got the skills! Well, let's find out. So let's feed him up here to level 7, get the first skill. Mounted combat. Applies damage boost to all allies. Okay, I'm guessing light is very supporty. So we're going to see whether or not that comes through. This tells me he probably is going to be supporty. After all, he is a knight's mount. So support is probably what he's going to be doing. That's not a bad place to start. It's not a bad place to start. All right, so let's continue to level 10. One solitary swallow. Deals moderate light damage to one enemy. 50% chance of dazing. All right, so he's going to be doing some dazing then. All right, so let's continue to level 15 and another skill. Does not make a summer. Okay, Am I reading that right? I mean, it's off the screen there, so I don't really tell. Removes all negative status effects from allies. All right, well, I don't see keeping it. I'll just throw it there. So far, I am not impressed. Just saying. Yep. Let's go. I'm sure it'll get better. I'm sure it'll get better. All right, level 20. Bitter Reading. Deals moderate light damage to one enemy. Removes all negative status effects from all allies. That's okay. We're going to put that there because, after all, it does the same thing, but it also attacks. So that can be very useful. An attack that does something useful is good. All right, so let's continue to level 25 and his final form. Let the Dogs Bark. Deals moderate light damage to one enemy. Applies daze. Okay, so that's basically an upgrade of that one. Yeah, so far, not overly impressed. Just saying. Not overly impressed. Okay, he looks very scary now. Are we sure he's light? Yeah, I mean, he looked okay a minute ago. And he still apparently can phase out of existence. I'm not seeing that in the skills, though. Alright, let's keep going and maybe get to the good skills. Yeah, alright. Alright, so let's get to level 30. And Old Horse's Momentum. Deals double... Okay, well that's double damage to all allies. That's alright. This one here was a 0 cooldown, but it was only 50% buff. So, I mean, we might as well just take this. Might as well. There's no reason not to. Okay. There are awesome skills coming here, right? Just checking. Alright, let's get to 35. I'm sure the skill at 35 will be awesome. A sign we are on the track. Deals moderate light damage to all enemies. Applies daze. Alright, I'm going to put that in the front. Should I put it here? Alright, let's look for a second here. Alright, this one here is 2-round cooldown. That's a buff. Do I assume that I'm getting something? I have to assume I'm getting something else. I've heard that this guy is the greatest thing in creation. All other monsters bow before him. He's like 1,000 nemesis creatures merged, glued together with VIPs. So he's got to have something worthy of that first spot, right? So I'm going to put that there. Okay, 35. We are going to get to really good skills here, right? Just checking. Level 40? They are not giants. Deals heavy light damage to one enemy. Removes all... Okay, so that's just an upgrade of that. But there's absolutely no reason not to take it. It's the same stamina, the same cooldown. It's more damage. There's no reason not to take it. No downside to that. Okay, that's a good hit. Of course, remember, his speed is a little bit more, but, you know, he's kind of tanky, too. So, I mean, he's got a lot of health, but I'm not seeing anything tanky. All right, let's continue. Because we're running out of new skills here, you know. Just saying, we maybe got 2 more left. Bitter Reading. Deals moderate light damage to one enemy. Okay, that's the one we just got rid of, I believe. All right. Level 45. Okay, we're going to level 50. Skills, please. Charge with Rasagon. I can't see the whole thing. Removes all negative status effects and all cooldowns. Okay, here we go. Removes all negative status effects and all cooldowns from one ally. Gives extra turn to one ally. Okay, that's pretty good. It's not something I want to put in the first spot, though. I mean, that's a group attack. It's not bad moderate damage. It's not bad moderate damage. I think what I might end up doing is putting this one here and then hoping this one comes around, assuming there's something else. If something else comes around, I don't really know. I mean, days isn't really very important. All right, obviously this one's probably bread and butter here. I don't know if it's his only one, but if I get this, I get the assign we're on the track, I'll put that in the first spot unless something else comes up. I mean, this is okay. You know, it's not as good as Demise's, if you ask me, because it's the extra turn. He already gets the extra turn. I mean, this is something you use later in a fight. This is kind of like Demise's skill later in a fight. So, I mean, you know, we'll see. We'll see. All right, let's. I'm going to put that in for the one on the end. I like to have things like that on the end. All right, if that one pops up again, I'm going to put it in the front. Unless something else comes up. Is that it? Level 55. Let the dogs bark. I'm going to put that in the first. Now, that's the single target one. But, you know, until I get the group one back, I better put it there. Because I might just get this one again. And I only have one chance to get it. All right, level 60. Bitter reading. Okay, so I'm going to have to wait till I get the group version of the other one back. All right, did we miss anything? All right, assign reader on the track. That's the one that I want to put back in the first one. All right, bitter reading. Mounted combat. Negative status effects. Okay. I'm a little on the disappointed side, frankly. I'm really. I mean, there's one okay skill, moderate to okay. I'll say it's a good skill. The rest of it is kind of meh. It really is. I mean, I don't see the big to-do. I really don't. See the big to-do here. All right, let's take a look at the final stats. Yeah, really good life. Very tanky. Speed and power, they're okay. They're kind of similar. He's a little speedier. He doesn't have Demise's speed, though. That's the thing about it. At least I could be wrong about that. He doesn't have Demise's speed, which allows her to actually properly utilize her skill. All right, well, you know what? Let's take a look at the skills we got here, and then we'll talk about final judgments here, right? All right, let's start with this one. Now, obviously, I'm not keeping this one. I was kind of hoping the group version of this would come back around again, so that's the one I'm going to use. When I start testing and we start doing it, hopefully when I go to 80th level, then I'll get that one back. But anyway, this one is Let the Dogs Bark, deals moderate light damage to one enemy, applies daze to one enemy. Now, the group version of this is slightly less damage. It does the daze, and let's just take a quick look here. And it's got a 2-round cooldown. So that's a good enough attack. Dazing isn't one of my favorite things, but it's okay. It's all right. So it's funny because the other one seems to have a lower stamina cost, which is interesting. But anyway, that's not bad. I mean, the thing is, he is a support creature, so you're not going to expect him to do a lot of damage. Although the next skill is a lot of damage. They are not giants. Deals heavy light damage to one enemy, removes positive status effects from all enemies. So this will purge all those things. If they're shielded, they have regeneration, they have all kinds of things on them. This will be a good solid hit, light damage. It's going to take all those things away, and it's got a 2-round cooldown. So you do it once every 3 rounds. So, I mean, he is a support creature, so getting a good hit like that's not such a bad thing. All right, and then we have this one. Old Horse's Momentum. Applies double damage to all allies. All right, so this one, there was a lower version. There was one that did a damage boost. The good thing about that one is it didn't have a cooldown, and of course, damage boosts last a bit longer. But this is double damage, and it lasts for 2 turns. A lot of double damages don't last that long. So this is actually very useful. This is the kind of thing you want from support, right? Double damage. Pretty nice indeed. And then I guess what we have here is the bread and butter skill. Charge with Rosonate? I don't know how to pronounce that. Anyway, this one here removes all negative status effects and all cooldowns from one ally, and then gives an extra turn to one ally. So you wouldn't start a fight with this, really. I mean, you could, I suppose, if you wanted to yank somebody up and bring them to the forefront. Somebody who's not really fast, but you want them to go first. But, I mean, the thing about it is that this is more for later in a fight, because it does remove negative status effects. You're assuming that they have negative status effects, and also gives the cooldowns back, resets the cooldowns. So, I mean, if you did it in the beginning of the fight, it's really a very poor version of Demise's skill. You know, Demise's skill gives the extra turn, but it also gives double damage. So that one is really good for starting a fight. This one is more for the middle of a fight, just picking one guy out, taking bad things off him, resetting his cooldowns, and letting him go again. There are certain creatures you'd really like to do that with, you know, that have the really big hits. If you did that with a cryotin, wow, that would be awesome, right? You have to get his stamina back, but that's not too bad. Barbados would be another one. That way you can do Hellfire more than once. And Master of Pain, that would be very good. It's just that I don't see this. This is a good skill. First of all, I'm not saying anything wrong with this skill. This is a good skill. It's just is not worthy of all of the let's build temples in his name things that people have been saying. He's a good support individual who can do a bit of damage there. This is a good skill. It's just nowhere near as good as Demise's skill. One of the reasons is because Demise has such a good speed, it's easy to get her to go first. And she's going to say, you attack right now, and by the way, here's double damage. This one will do the turn early in the fight, but it won't do the double damage. If they'd thrown precision in there, I would have been happy with that. But this is something for later in a fight. To maybe like it's getting close to the end and you just say, you go again and boom, kill this guy. That's okay. It's a good skill. It just doesn't rank with Demise's. It really doesn't, if you ask me. I don't know. I'm not really sure why this guy has been like so praised. But, he's a good one. He's good. And then he's also pretty tough, too. So he's going to be alive later in the fight. He's got a really good life. So he's going to be very chunky towards the end. Which is kind of a shame they didn't take advantage of that. Even, maybe you throw in like a taunt thing where he can take some of the hits or something like that. It's just that why have a big life like that unless you're going to take advantage of that? Obviously, in terms of this individual, he's got one really good damaging thing, but I don't think you put damage on him. You probably want him going as much as possible, for obvious reasons, that last skill. And also the big hit that removes the positive status effects from the enemy. Speed, you definitely want speed. If you want him to be a tank, you could put life on him. I just think you probably want speed and support speed. I think you're kind of wasting the point if you put damage on him. Even though he's got a heavy hit, it's kind of not what he's there for. If you're going to do that, you probably want to do damage, right? You want a damage dealer. That's not what he is. Even his group attack is really about the daze, isn't it? It's really about dazing them. Could you have made that blinding? That would have been nice, something like that. It's just that other than that skill, he's just like, the double damage is nice, but, maybe put it in an attack or something like that. I don't know. Put it in an attack or something. If that last one, I said, if that had precision on it, at least it would have been somewhat useful. Because it's really annoying when Demise says, here's double damage, attack, and that individual misses. That's annoying. I would just, basically speed. Speed, that's what I would go with. Speed, support speed, however you're going to do that. I don't really see how you use him any other way. I really don't see how you use him any other way. So anyway, this is Rasagon. He's okay. I just don't think that he's worth the hype that I heard. I really don't think he's worth the hype. I just don't see it. I really don't. And support-wise, I've seen individuals who are just so much better in support if you take that skill off. The other support, double damage, it's good. But you know what? Look at Incognita. She gives double damage and precision. There's that extra little oomph there. Mind you, she also hits like a train sometimes, too. She's got heavy damage, light group attack. So, and she's got another, I just don't see the hype. It's just me. So anyway, thank you very much for your attention. I really appreciate it. And play games, because games are fun. See ya.